In today's news, city manager says vendors may sell produce or clothes as they choose after Market Square is criticized by Claude Skelton-Klein. Roberts wins $5,000 in CCT Spin to Win jackpot. World's largest floating book fair docks in BVI later in the month. Norovirus outbreaks reported on cruise ships ahead of peak cruise season. And detained VI national on hunger strike in Israeli prison. These and more stories when To It For News returns.
We mash the gas, them bite the dust. We set the speed while they gathering rust. Inside we hard BVI come first. So please don't be fooled cause they not lying. Once we mash the gas, them bite the dust. Cause we always fast and we always fuss. If you want real speed, you know who to trust. Somebody better tell them they're not like who? They're not like us. CCT fast, like CCT fast, like CCT just generosity, love the community bad, like CCT fast with the 5G. Cause BVI is we.
At Higher BVI, we're not just about business. We're about empowering lives, and that is because we aspire to inspire. By choosing us, you're supporting a company that believes in equal opportunities, diversity, and community growth. Our mission goes beyond profit. It's about providing HR solutions, fostering talent, and leaving a positive impact. Join us in building a better future, a better BVI. Choose Higher BVI, where your support isn't just a transaction, it's a transformation. Together, we're changing lives in these beautiful Virgin Islands.
Welcome viewers to the Tuesday, October 7th edition of 284 News. I am Jacqueline Wooding Donovan, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. Thank you so much for joining us. Talk show host Claude Skelton-Klein has questioned whether the Road Town Market Square is fulfilling its intended purpose, arguing that it has become more about bikinis than local produce. Speaking on his Honestly Speaking program, Skelton-Klein said the facility appears to have strayed from its cultural and agricultural roots. However, city manager Janice Brathwaite countered that the market was never designed solely for selling produce, but as a vendor's market where operators have the legal right to sell a variety of goods, including clothing. She added that efforts are underway to improve security and storage for vendors' goods. Details in this report. Local talk show host Claude Skelton-Klein has criticized operations at the Road Town Market Square, saying that the facility is selling clothes rather than farmers' produce. During a recent session of his Honestly Speaking program, Skelton-Klein questioned if the market is serving the vision and purpose for what it was built.
I keep driving by the Market Square. I keep driving by our Market Square. And I want to ask the government and others, and us in general, what is our intention? What was the vision for the Market Square? Because every time I drive by now, I see more brassieres than potatoes. I see more bikinis than bananas. You said brassiere. That's a long time I ain't even hear that word come on my mouth. I mean, what is it? Was this the vision? Is this what we intended? I thought that the Market Square would be a place, a cultural venue where we can house the products of the country, the food, provisions, get fresh, organic, as much as we can, items, and it will be a bustling place, space, if not every day, at least 3 Thursday, Friday, Saturday out of the week where the farmers can do their provisioning. But no, in other words, the farmers are down the road on the highway across the street. They got people across the fire station. And then something completely different happening in the market square. And I want to ask, because you see, part of the problem in this country and part of the problem with black people and white people, I want you to close your eyes and just stick your fingers in your ears right now. One of the challenges that we face is that we refuse to organize. This country needs organization. The spaces and the places we occupy needs to be properly organized. Folk should not, we cannot do as we please.
Skelton Klein, in his commentary, stated that from what he has seen, it does not reflect the BVI's culture.
That's not what we do. Now, if that's what we're doing now and we're changing and we're going to just be swallowed up by everything else, then let's say that, let's state that, let that become the national anthem and rhythm. But if that ain't us, then we cannot have, who's the city manager and all that kind of stuff, and the minister for that subject, and the government in particular, and the public in general. Let's have a conversation about this. And if this is not the vision for that venue, then why are we allowing it to become that? I can hear somebody say, Claude, Skelton Klein, people, they're trying to make a living. I listen, I bear witness, I identify, I can appreciate all of that, but there needs to be some order.
Meanwhile, City Manager Janice Brathwaite said on ZBVI that as far as she is aware, the market square in Roadtown is not only to sell produce. Brathwaite says it is a vendor's market, and therefore vendors who operate have a legal right to sell their clothes. She said it was never intended to be a market just for produce.
It was never intended to be a market to sell food alone, grounds, provisions, and what have you, as far as I am aware. As city manager, nothing is wrong with that, because the market was prescribed to do vending. Is it a matter of me being satisfied with his operation? I'm not sure that that's what I need to answer. What I am saying is, as it relates to the vendors in that market, we have to be mindful of the fact that we did have some long-term vendors, but what we were seeing developing is the same situation as we had at Crafts Alive. As far as that is concerned, it was becoming a situation like we have done Crafts Alive. You have people who were there 3-4 months and were already in arrears, and we can't afford to operate like that any longer. So those vendors were told that you have to be on time, in time, every time, and they opted not to continue to do business. It is serving the purpose that it was built to serve, yes.
The city manager admits that the market needs to be properly secured to allow vendors to store their produce at the end of the day.
One of the challenges that we face with the Market Square is the fact that it should have had its shutters on. Unfortunately, as of this time, the shutters are not on. If the shutters were on, then I think people would be forced to do business in a different light. There are no shutters there, and so there is not really any place to close up your storage things. So people are using the top of the counters to do what they need to do. Had the shutters been up, there may be a different ways and means to set up your business. There are plans to have the shutters. We actually are awaiting the arrival of the shutters. We've heard on several occasions that they should be here shortly. We're hoping that they're here and up and installed by the end of the year. That's the most that I can tell you at this time. I have no fear nor favor to say yes, it's more than a year, but the new date that I just gave you, the end of the year, is the date that I have been recently given.
Meanwhile, Elcon Roberts is the latest winner of CCT's Spin to Win jackpot, walking away with a grand prize of $5,000. The promotion gives customers a chance to spin a wheel for cash and other prizes. Roberts secured the top prize during a guaranteed win spin on Friday, October 3rd, making him one of the biggest winners this season.
Wanna spin? He changed his technique this time. It's a different strategy. It's a different strategy. It's a different strategy. Whoa! Sir, you changed your strategy on us and you came through with the big $5,000 winner. How are you feeling, sir? Come close, man. How are you feeling?
Feeling good.
All right, definitely feeling good. All right.
I stand by there. I said if I go slow this time, you should made it.
CCT congratulated Roberts and encouraged customers to stay tuned for upcoming promotions, which continue to attract wide public interest. The Spin to Win campaign is part of CCT's ongoing efforts to engage and reward loyal customers across the territory. In other news, the Logos Hope, the world's largest floating book fair, is set to dock in the British Virgin Islands from October 24th to 28th. Details in this report. The Logos Hope, known as the world's largest floating book fair, is scheduled to visit the British Virgin Islands from October 24th to 28th, bringing affordable books, cultural exchange, and community outreach to local residents. While no official announcement has yet been made by local authorities, 284 Media confirmed the ship's visit based on the published schedule listed on the BVI Ports Authority website and the official Logos Hope website. Operated by Good Books for All (GBA) ships and run in partnership with Operation Mobilism, Logos Hope travels the globe to share literature and Christian outreach in ports it visits. The ship's mission includes engaging with local communities, donating books, and facilitating cultural programs on board. Visitors will be able to explore the ship's visitor experience deck, which features events where locals can meet the crew, learn about the ship's global mission, and purchase books at accessible prices. Since the first Logos ship was acquired in 1970, the fleet has visited over 480 ports in 150 countries, welcoming more than 50 million people on board. The current vessel, Logos Hope, entered service in 2009 after being refitted from a former Swedish car ferry named Gustav Vasa. This visit is part of the Logos Hope ongoing Caribbean tour aimed to bring the hope of Jesus through service, literature, and relationship building with communities. More information on local events and boarding times are expected to be announced closer to the visit date. Up next, norovirus outbreaks reported on cruise ships ahead of peak cruise season, and detained VI national on hunger strike in Israeli prison. These and more stories after a word from our sponsors.
Just give me my service. Yeah. Just give me my service.
Just give me my service.
Make the switch to CCT and get connected today. Unlimited talk, text, and data. Visit any CCT store or call us at 444-4444. CCT, Life Unlimited.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is keeping a close watch on recent norovirus outbreaks on cruise ships, just as the start of the traditional cruise season in the region begins. The incidents come as the Caribbean, including the British Virgin Islands, welcomes, or prepares to welcome, I should say, thousands of passengers during the peak tourism period, raising concerns about potential public health risks. Norovirus, sometimes referred to as the stomach flu, causes symptoms including vomiting, diarrhea, and stomach cramps. It spreads easily in close contact environments such as cruise ships, making strict hygiene and sanitation protocols critical for prevention and containment. The BVI's cruise season typically begins in October, with the territory scheduled to receive hundreds of thousands of visitors between then and April. Cruise tourism is a major contributor to the local economy, supporting businesses ranging from taxis and tour operators to restaurants and craft vendors. Experts emphasize the importance of hand washing, proper food handling, and early reporting of illness to prevent the spread of norovirus both on cruise ships and on shore. In regional news, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, has expanded her responsibilities following a significant reshuffling of ministerial portfolios, which included the renaming of 2 ministries and the realignment of several key responsibilities. The changes were made by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister in accordance with Section 79 of the country's constitution. Details in this report. A Gazette notice published on October 4, 2024, outlined the redistribution of portfolios across Trinidad and Tobago's government ministries. Among the most notable changes is the Prime Minister's assumption of responsibility for multiple social and heritage bodies, including matters relating to heritage buildings, constitutional reform, National Trust, National Commission for Self-Help Limited, National Library Services, the National Library and Information System Authority, as well as various housing programs such as the Home Improvement Grants Policy, the Housing and Village Improvement Program, and the Government-Aided Self-Help Housing Program. These areas were previously under the Ministers of Culture and Community Development, Housing, and Public Administration. The Ministry of Legal Affairs has been renamed the Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs, with land responsibilities transferred from the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries. The minister will now oversee lands and surveys, land management, regularization, and tenure housing for squatters, surveys and mapping, valuation, the Land Settlement Agency, the Land Survey Board of Trinidad and Tobago, and the Estate Management and Business Development Company. The restructuring is expected to streamline the administration of land, which has historically faced delays and challenges. For the energy sector, responsibility for power generation, Trinidad Generation Unlimited, and PowerGen has shifted from the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries to Minister for Public Utilities, restoring a structure that existed previously. The move is intended to allow for more focused oversight of power generation and related arrangements. The Criminal Justice Unit and Prison System have been reassigned from the Minister of Justice to the Attorney General and Minister of Homeland Security, respectively. The Minister for Justice will now oversee electronic monitoring, the Environmental Commission, Equal Opportunity Bodies, the Tax Appeal Board, the Council of Legal Education, U. Wooding Law School, and the Criminal Injury Compensation Board, which was previously under Homeland Security. Other significant shifts include Finance Minister now holds the responsibility for the National Health Insurance System and the Export-Import Bank of Trinidad and Tobago, previously under the Ministers of Health and Trade. The Minister for Labor, Small and Micro Enterprise Development will now oversee the National Entrepreneurship Development Company, which was moved from the Ministry of Trade. The Minister for Planning, Economic Affairs and Development has taken over social planning, development, and monitoring from the Ministry of People, Social Development, and Family Services. And Minister Vandada Mohit has been reassigned to manage the Geriatric Adolescent Partnership Program, formerly under the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs. The absorption of the National Commission of Self-Help into the Prime Minister's portfolio has drawn attention due to the agency's role in previous electoral cycles. Critics note that the way this responsibility is exercised moving forward will likely influence perceptions of the move. The reshuffle took place during a period when the national budget is typically presented, though a date has not yet been announced. Political analysts suggest that the changes are unlikely to delay the budget, as the realignment primarily involves transferring existing line items between ministries. The overall restructuring is aimed at improving efficiency, harmonizing related functions, and ensuring a more streamlined governance process across several key sectors. Meanwhile, Virgin Islander Dane Hunter is reportedly on a hunger strike while being held in a high-security Israeli prison after being detained during a humanitarian flotilla mission to Gaza. His condition now drawing growing concern from advocates and family members calling for his immediate release. Details in this report. Virgin Islands national Dane Hunter is on a hunger strike while being held in a high-security Israeli prison reserved for people accused of terrorism-related offenses. Dane is among 19 U.S. citizens still in Israeli custody after their detention during the Global Samud Flotilla mission to deliver food and medical aid to Gaza. According to advocates on Facebook, Hunter began refusing food immediately after being intercepted and has sustained bruises from being harshly restrained for extended periods. Despite these conditions, Hunter is reported to be in stable health. The advocates say Israel has so far released 3 of the 22 detained Americans, reportedly at random, placing them on deportation flights to other countries. Dane's release date remains unclear, and advocates say Israel may deport them to a third country before any return to the United States. U.S. officials have stated that they will not assist citizens deported to cities where they do not live and have not committed to providing medical support upon their return. Family members and supporters have criticized the U.S. government's response, saying it has been slow compared to other countries that quickly secured their citizens' release. They argue that the case highlights the U.S. government's reluctance to challenge Israel, even when U.S. nationals are detained. Advocacy groups are urging the public to contact elected officials and the Bureau of Consular Affairs to press for immediate release of Hunter and the other detained Americans. They are also calling on lawmakers to support H.R. 473, the Show Up Act, which addresses humanitarian aid delivery to Gaza, and H.R. 3565, the Block the Bombs Act, which seeks to limit U.S. arms sales to Israel. Supporters continue to organize lobbying efforts and provide resources for detainees upon their release, while expressing hope for Hunter's safe and swift return home. Up next, BVI Barracudas celebrate standout results at ABSF Championship, and forecasters see up to 1 inch of rain from twin waves affecting the territory. These and more stories when To It For News returns.
My name is Henry Bosch. I work for PPG. I'm here to explain to you the use of the Deltron NXT paint line and Enviro-based high performance, one being solvent-borne and the next being water-borne. The difference is that one is totally manufactured with rosins and thinners and all the good stuff that solvents bring versus our new technology, which is waterborne, which is 100% latex. What we're gonna do is that we reduce the solvent-borne with a DT885, which is a mid-temp reducer, and the waterborne uses T494, which is a waterborne reducer. We will today be using either DCU 2042, which is a speed clear, or we will be using DCU 2021, which is a classic. We have here our equipment. We have 8-ounce measuring cups, and we also have our 32-ounce mixing cup. We will also have with us our Venturi. This is a blower for us to dry the waterborne paint, which speeds up the process. The good thing about waterborne paint is that as soon as it evaporates, you're good to go. So now Gilligan will dilute the waterborne paint with the waterborne reducer. We made 8 ounces, that would be 1.6 ounce. It always has to be properly mixed until we get an even mixture within the paint mixing cup. So when we spray, we don't see uneven coats of color. So right now we're filling our paint gun with 8 ounces of diluted paint. We're gonna see how far 8 ounces will take us. Waterborne paint seems to look blotchy on your first coat. Don't pay no mind to that. Don't try to achieve full coverage on your first spray. Excellent. Let it dry. So the process in waterborne is 2 even coats, and then we have what we call a dust coat. Well, now we're gonna have Mr. Brown apply the first coat of clear on his waterborne panel. We'll let it flash off, and then he'll come back and coat it with his second coat to finish it off. As you had seen in the previous shots, we had a little blotchiness, and you'll see some patches. That's all due on purpose to sandpaper to prove that with Enviro-based high performance, all technicians, the body work has to end at 800 grit or plus. Well, Enviro-based is like we're trying to shift everyone into that slowly but surely. The entire west coast of the United States and all of Canada has already been on waterborne for the past 10 years. And now soon it'll be the eastern seaboard, which covers the Caribbean. So when that happens, we'll all be affected. So it's best to start now, start trying and applying waterborne, because eventually everyone will be on it. And referring to technicians, it's less harmful because it doesn't have all the toxic chemicals that solvent-borne paints do.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. In sports, BVI Barracudas Swim Club athletes returned home with a strong showing from the 10th annual ABSF Invitational Championship held in Antigua and Barbuda, earning a total of 25 medals and 3 high point trophies. The team collected 13 gold, 9 silver, and 3 bronze medals during the meet, which drew swimmers from across the Caribbean region. Among standout performers were William Burgell, who placed first overall in boys 8 and under categories. Naya Bisondut finished second overall in girls 8 and upper group, 8 and under, I should say. Aaron Bisondut also earned second overall in the boys 9-10 division, and Evelyn Freeman placed fourth overall in the girls 9-10 category. The club praised all swimmers for their efforts and performances at the meet, noting the continued development of local athletes in regional competition. Supporters interested in helping the team with travel and competition costs can contact Coach Rebecca at 284-544-7152. In weather, periods of rain and possible thunderstorms are expected across the territory throughout tonight, continuing the patterns from earlier today, as 2 tropical waves influence weather conditions in the area. The first wave is now moving away, but lingering moisture and instability will continue to bring cloudy skies and a high chance of showers. A second wave is forecast to approach the islands later tonight, increasing the likelihood of more rainfall after midnight. Rainfall totals could range from 6.35 to 25.4 millimeters over the forecast period. That's just about up to 1 inch. Today's weather was partially cloudy, becoming cloudy at times, with a 70% chance of showers and slight thunderstorms. This would continue into tonight, where conditions remain partly cloudy with a 50% chance of showers, increasing to 70% after midnight, along with a 30% chance of thunderstorms. Winds will come from the east-southeast at 11 to 22 kilometers per hour. Seas range from 0.9 to 1.8 meters, with northerly swells up to 1.5 meters. A high surf advisory remains in effect until later this evening. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:10 a.m. And that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com. Like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter. I am Jacko Wooding Donovan, and I will see you again tomorrow. So have yourself a safe and enjoyable evening. Goodbye.